So as you know, Dr. Umar Johnson is a hilarious individual. And despite all of his talent, the guy is all talk. He's kind of like a big, brutal dog that barks real loud and he never really bites. And you would think that if you're not gonna bite anybody, you would stop talking. But no, Dr. Umar Johnson barks even louder. And even though he's a dog that never bites, people still like to hype him up as if he is the champ. But Dr. Umar Johnson is still, in many ways, very foolish, although I am still a fan. And he made himself look quite stupid with this whole Sukihana situation. Now remember, Sukihana is a young lady that's going around doing a lot of egregious things, over-sexualizing herself, letting ladies lick, her down there on concerts, putting guys' feet in her mouth, doing stuff on OnlyFans, all kind of crazy stuff. And it's really been problematic because it's a very bad stereotype, not only on some of the women in the community, but the black community as a whole. So because of that, Dr. Umar Johnson reached out to say he wanted to meet Sukihana to talk about her public behavior in something that led to a campaign that dealt with black women and girls. Now that is very interesting. And once Dr. Umar put that out, Sukihana responded. And according to Dr. Umar, she said this.
Umar, and I will make him woke right now. She said, I want to be intimate with Dr. Umar, and I will make him woke right now. That's what my sister Sukihana from Wilmington, Delaware said. That's what my sister Sukihana from Wilmington, Delaware said. That's what my sister Sukihana from Wilmington, Delaware said. And then she said, if Dr. Umar met me, he would shoot his shot because he would see that I'm a chocolate, beautiful, conscious queen in need of a little guidance and some daddy issues.
Now, of course, it seems like Dr. Umar was flattered. I mean, he does look like he's somewhat interested. And when she did respond in that way, Dr. Umar caught a lot of slack. And in his, in Dr. Umar's fashion, he somehow correlated the slack that he was getting from meeting Sukihana to have something to do with heterosexual black men. Again, I don't know how he made that connection, but again, when you're delusional, you don't need any reason to make the connection. Just try to make it. And so here was his response.
I will not make excuses for my sister Sukihana's content. But the sister has as much right to make a mistake and then correct it as you and I do. And many of you who want to cancel her outright have overlooked evil and wrongdoing in the black community that has been worse than what she is doing. How many people we got who have taken the life of other people and we still celebrate them right now? How many in our community have been accused and even have been proven to be and we overlooked their behavior because they are celebrities? How many have robbed and stolen and killed and abused elders and women and you overlooked their wrong? So all I'm saying, don't be a hypocrite when it comes to the black woman when you have overlooked the sins of black men. All I'm saying is don't be a hypocrite when it comes to black women when you have overlooked the sins of black men. There are black men who have said and done some of the same things Sukihana has said and done, and they have not been canceled. All I'm saying is be honest in your criticism. Be balanced in your condemnation. All I'm saying is don't have one set of standards for elite celebrities and a completely separate set of standards for upcoming celebrities. That's all I'm saying, brothers and sisters.
So eventually the meeting happened, and if you're looking at the photo in the background, that is Dr. Umar Johnson and Sukihana. And of course, you know, that was supposed to change her behavior. But it didn't. Doesn't seem like, because once we asked Dr. Umar Johnson what was about the meeting, he said this.
Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. This is your big brother King Kong consciousness. Dr. Umar Ifatunde, the notorious one, RBG. Chicago, I am in the building. We're going to talk about the war against Black Chicago today. We're going to talk about the war against Black Chicago today. I need y'all to focus in, brothers and sisters. Y'all worrying about the wrong things right now. We're talking about liberation of African people. It is politics over the Punani. Stop worrying about. A shout out to my Miami family. I want to give a special shout out to my Miami family. Y'all turned up and turned out yesterday. The sisters were looking marvelous. The Miami queens were looking marvelous yesterday, weren't they? Every size, every shape, every color. I wasn't paying attention though because I was too focused on the revolution. I was not paying attention to all that Miami beauty because I was too focused on the revolution, brothers and sisters. But Miami turned up and turned out. Much love to Miami. We're going to see what's popping in Chicago today at the Bantu Festival. Stop worrying about my sister Suki Hana. Stop worrying about my sister Suki Hana. She good. Suki chilling right now. Suki chilling right now. Stop worrying about my sister Suki Hana. She chilling. Suki chilling right now. Let her relax. Let her relax right now. Let Suki relax right now. Thank you. Thank you. Stop worrying about my queendom. Stop worrying about the Ifatunde queendom. Stop worrying about the Ifatunde queendom. Worry about your own queendom. She said, I'm a Christian woman. I ain't got no business on this man's page lusting after him. Don't worry about that, sister. You still an African queen. It's okay for you to lust after the King Kong of consciousness.
Again, it was all about how many queens he has and the Umar Queen fan club. And I mean, of course, this is what Dr. Umar does. He's self-aggrandizing. But even worse, your brother Mark Cruz sent me this clip of Sukiana out in Little Rock. And of course, at the end, we're going to cut out the twerking clip. But this is what Sukiana is doing after meeting Dr. Umar Johnson. Let's see what she's doing now.
Listen, I just did my show in Little Rock, this Sukiana, and y'all shut up for y'all city. Y'all turn around, show the people something. Little Rock, Arkansas. They want to see what Little Rock look like. You already know who it is. It's KT. And then don't say BBW crew. You already know who it is.
You see, guys, unfortunately, Sukiana is doing the same thing that she was doing before meeting Dr. Umar. That was the same thing. And of course, nothing came about of Black Women's and Girls campaign. Black women were used once again. Black women were used yet again as a proxy to help the career of Dr. Umar Johnson, to get him some more credibility by using, you know, Sukiana's platform to pretty much get him a larger audience, and then Black women still pay the price. I mean, this is what happens when you have guys who say they support you as Black women, when you have Dr. Umar Johnson who isn't going to do anything for you. I mean, with friends like Dr. Umar Johnson, who really needs enemies? But it comes down to the point that a man with no infrastructure, no way to help himself, and no way really to benefit the Black community, he has no ability to help Black women. Now, let me kind of give an example of somebody who is the opposite of Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm not saying that Minister Louis Farrakhan doesn't have issues, but Minister Louis Farrakhan, the things I like about him is he has infrastructure. So when a woman comes into the Nation of Islam, you have to change your behavior to stay there, because there's infrastructure there that you can be a part of, and there's a community around, you know, what you're talking about that will help you change. But see, you can't be like that when you have nothing to offer anybody, when you're just pretty much a clown and you're going around running your mouth just so that you can get more donations and beg, when you really don't have anything to offer any of these women except for the fact that what you want to be is somewhat of a guy who's getting, you know, a lot of respect from ladies. Again, you know, you want them to be jocking you, but you don't have any real infrastructure to do anything. And that's pretty much all he's reduced to. And for any black man who is taking black women's side, I mean, you're not going to be able to change them. Number one, if you're talking like Dr. Umar Johnson, right? Because that's ridiculous. And then number two, you don't really mean it, right? You don't mean what you're talking about. There's no real way that you mean what you're talking about. And you need to have infrastructure in the black community. You need somebody to sacrifice to build these communities, to put things there for these women to be able to participate in. There has to be a reason why those women want to be in the black community in the first place. And if you want them to change their behavior, you're going to have infrastructure. You need to put them in nice housing. You need to go ahead and make sure they can help develop the communities. You need to have investment there. There are things that you need to do to take care of these women to be a part of your community. Why should they serve you when they can go out here and make thousands upon thousands of dollars, you know, doing some of these, you know, interesting things that Sukihana's doing, like, I don't know, putting people's feet in her mouth and twerking outside in Little Rock, Arkansas. She can do that and get some support. Why does she need to clean up herself and listen to somebody like Dr. Umar Johnson, who probably behind closed doors ain't got no problem with, you know, Sukihana doing what she does? And that's just the reality. A lot of black men like Dr. Umar Johnson, you want to be able to consult with women in private, so you say, or to help them change their ways, when you're not offering anything to help them change their ways, but yet you're criticizing black men and you're just in the same boat as those guys you're talking about, because there's nothing about black women that you take care of. In fact, you're taking their money. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with an episode of The Celebrity Jump. Appreciate you for all you do. Scrape the bell. We're out.